Where's Canva? Greetings, everyone. I'm just putting you all in the loop. We're preparing the shrine. We're getting everything set up. So you are here with us in preparation. Just focus it there. Yeah, that's good. See everything. And is that's not my.
Open your Android's quick settings, tap cast, smart view. Your phone? Is it in your purse?
I'm gonna run to because nobody on this row has.
Oh, okay.
Coffee. I'm gonna go. Thank you so much.
I didn't even think about that. Okay, so she said quick settings.
You never told me. She never told me. You told me to ask. I knew she did.
Yeah.
I knew she did.
What were you looking for?
I'm looking for her settings. Says open your Android phone.
It does pull down on the side like ours. There you go.
Oh, see, look. See how many iPhone uses does it take? And then it says tap tap. Options. I refuse. I will not be defeated. Task.
That's how you have to be with technology, though.
Okay, so it said these are the step-by-step directions. It says open your Android phone's quick settings. Is that somewhere other than where I am? Do you have like a never mind.
I promise I'm not just. I don't
No,
know.
it's not difficult at all. I don't know. I'm
it's
literally
always gonna be
Googling it. I don't know.
African. No matter
See, it's not showing up for me.
the other one?
It's just the yes, the other. Okay,
There
there
it
it
is.
goes. Magic 2740.
Lick the gray button. Okay, you got it. Down. I was in Florida, so I got back to Atlanta last.
Greetings. Right? I have something for you.
Thank you. Put your snap on the other side. You can balance your head. This is the curry chicken.
Yes.
The curry chicken.
Next door.
The kitchen area. So we got the peanut stew, we got the curry chicken.
You made the peanut too?
I did. And I have more for us to eat. There's enough for us to eat. But it's just peanuts with vegetables. And then Fasha made
No palm oil.
no, it does have palm oil. Oh, I don't have the palm oil taboo, so I never think about it. What's the thing goes up?
Yeah, lift the button up. Right button up.
And then once you lift it, it's so easy.
You made it out. Oh. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I could have made you some. Sometimes I'm so about to lie.
I treat so everybody else's food taboos with such love and care.
I could have made you something to the side. Because I added just for the flavor. Like it's not the main. ingredient. I just like the way it tastes. It makes it taste like meat to me. So.
It's very like
It's funny though because everybody's like,
Yes.
I'm like,
Right. What are you doing? What are you talking about?
I know people who actually have that taboo, and so they cook with shaba.
Any idea?
really? I was
Any
told
idea
ghee.
what TAB is?
There you go.
Good. How are you? Oh, lift the button up.
I can never get it together. Hello. Oh, shoot. You're not on, are you?
I am, but it's fine. We haven't started yet. People are just here for, you know. It's fine. Nothing was going on. I just didn't want to be starting it too late. How are you?
Good. How you doing? I'm good. Thank you.
That's smelling good. You got this cigar. I forgot cigars, and I forgot my wife. Like it wasn't meant to be. These was a cigar. And that
We're waiting.
oh, you did.
They were asking if we minded being part of the call and response to open up the session over there.
No. Wouldn't they be listening? Because it's working for me.
Yeah.
The sounds are working.
He'll call and then
He'll tell us what the color is.
Okay, sounds good. Here comes Ia and Baba.
Even if they don't like bigger.
Well, getting that.
oh, my stuff is fine now.
Oh, Tasha.
How you doing? I'm good. You always do.
Yeah,
It smells so
all right.
good.
My last ditch effort to no, it's because it's like trying to do
So,
thank you.
sure. That's our shop.
Thank you. How are you? You gave me a shock.
I love the video.
Don't know.
I love it.
Really? We met digitally like 2 years ago.
On your readings.
I had to step by step. Yeah. It must be on. Last question. Did you have it? Is there a possibility like this accident? I would, if you go, can you go into settings and see if you can find a cast setting? I literally don't know how to navigate around the phone, like your actual general settings. Settings, okay, perfect. Yeah. We are ready for the call and response whenever they are. Will we still be able to do libation? Okay. I'll keep working on that. Avail myself of one of these. Wait, it tastes good. I was about to say, wait, you was cute. No. Oh, they ain't. Okay. Okay.
Ain't official.
I am not complaining. I just remember this.
Yeah. I was just looking to tell you that. I don't even know.
Oh, here it is.
The honey one.
Okay.
They're ready for us to join them.
Okay.
We want to, for the call and response, to open up the space.
Do you want to
All right.
push this so that people watching
So
can
can
hear
they, can they explain how they're opening up the space just for everybody here? And then we'll do the call and response. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So did you guys want to start with the call and response? Okay. How's everybody doing? So my name is Ali, my government name, and I train a martial art form, a diasporic art form called Capoeira Angola. Has anybody ever heard of that?
Yes.
Okay. So I could be here all night trying to tell you what capoeira is, but if you ask 10 different people what capoeira is, you may get 10 different answers. So I'll give you a common answer on what is capoeira. Capoeira is an Afro-Brazilian art form. And I like to accentuate the Afro because of a lot of times when you hear the description of what capoeira is, you'll say it's a Brazilian martial art, it's a Brazilian martial art, which it is. But the martial art was born from the resistance and the suffering of the African ancestry that was taken to Brazil. And when they got to Brazil, they had nothing but their religion, their customs. And so, born from that, and from the what we call indigenous people of Brazil, is kind of where we get capoeira. Me personally, I've been training capoeira for the past 14 years. In 2023, I received the title of instructor, which allowed me to be able to build a community, to teach other people, and just kind of to signify that I've reached a certain amount of proficiency in the art form to be able to pass it on, which is definitely a goal, a dream of mine. I live right here in Knoxdale with my wife, Nisha. We've been together since college, so we've probably been together about 23 years-ish. Don't tell her I started on that.
Okay.
But we've been married for about 8 years. We just celebrated our 8th-year anniversary. And then I have a daughter, Samaya, and we live maybe about 5 minutes from here. What I'm attempting to do, as I mentioned, is start a community here of people who practice this ritual, because there's a musical aspect, there's a martial arts aspect. And all the training and work that we do is about preparing for the ritual that we call the altar. If you look at a lot of the diasporic rituals, the diasporic customs, they're all, I don't want to say all, but mostly you'll see a circle, you'll see music, and the music is a lot of times a call and a response, a call and a response. That's very African, if I may say so myself. That sound like y'all agree with that, right? Another thing is at the core of capoeira, especially at its beginning, the blade was a very important or integral factor in how the capoeiristas attain different protections, right? There's a legend of Besouro, right?
Yeah.
Who supposedly had the protection, right, from the Orishas. He had what they call corporal fechado. Anybody familiar with that? Okay, so let me back up. The language is Portuguese because in Brazil they speak Portuguese. So when I say corporal fechado, that means closed body. That means impenetrable to danger, impenetrable to. Excuse me. Okay. She had this protection from the Orishas, and the only thing that could penetrate his closed body was a particular wood that we call chipum. And I don't know if that's an indigenous wood to Brazil, but that was the only wood that supposedly could break the barrier, and that's how they killed. They ended up killing you. So, just to make a long story short. So, if I can give you your first introduction to capoeira, a huge part of capoeira is the music. Okay, you can do all the kicks and flips, and you can do all that. Without the music, it's not capoeira. Without the community, it's not capoeira. Because we have 8 players, we have 8 different instruments that work together to provide the energy for the partner. And I can't do that alone, right? And so since I live here and I want to build capoeira, why not start here in our community where we can come together and train and eventually practice this ritual. Ideally right there across the street, because I saw that circle and for some reason it resonated with me. As soon as I saw it, I was like, that's the spot for the partner. So I want to start with one song. You just heard us singing it, and I want to pass it on to the community and see if we can do it together. Sure. So the lyrics are very simple. Solta, you have to mean solta, manjinga. Okay. So when we say solta, it means to release. The verb is soltar. Okay. So solta means to release. Manjinga sounds like so when we talk about manjinga, it's that inner spirit you have, that inner magic that makes you play, and they want you to bring that inner magic out and put it into your game. Maybe the game needs a little bit more spice. You know, it got salt, but maybe we need some little paprika, and maybe we need a little cayenne. So this particular song is calling for those players to bring that magic out of themselves and put it into the game. Okay, so here it is. Solta manjinga, eh.
Solta manjinga, eh.
Solta manjinga, eh.
Sota Mandinga,
Sota Mandinga,
Sota Mandinga,
Sota Mandinga, capoeira.
Sota Mandinga,
Sota Mandinga.
Sota Mandinga,
Solta Mandinga, solta Mandinga, solta Mandinga, capoeira, solta Mandinga,
Sota Mandinga,
solta Mandinga, solta Mandinga, solta Mandinga. Okay, so that's the song. That's the whole thing, and it's meant to be more of a chant. So there's not a lot of lyrics. That's all the lyrics, and you just sing that over and over and over. Typically, until the two players are done playing their game. And I was explaining to Ty that different traditions in capoeira have different customs, slightly different customs. The same root as capoeira and Angola, but you know, we do hip hop in the West Coast different than they do hip hop in the East Coast. And I say the West Coast because I'm originally from Oakland, California. So, so it's the same principle. You have different regions of capoeira, and capoeira is going to acclimate to where it's being raised at, right? So it's going to be slightly different. So let's try it with a beating bow. If you have never seen this instrument, it is called a bidding bow. This is what controls the Vodun. There's normally three of them. Some people call it gunga, meju, and viola. Deep bass, gunga, meju, middle, viola, high pitch, right? In our tradition, the meju, the mother, controls the Vodun. Okay? So let's try that. Let's get coordinated. So I'm going to tell you when to come back.
That's this next song.
And we're gonna start with libation, and then we'll explain and move on into everything we got going. Which one of y'all want to do libation? Yeah, well, really. It's the Google libation. You ain't got it. She just got back from Cuba. I'm okay. Is that all right?
It's done.
Okay. One get out of Yes. Y'all want me to We give praise and honor to ancestral spirits of the north, the south, the east, and the west. We give praise and honor to all of our righteous ancestors who now, as we bow at the feet of the Olodumare and Fetume in Uru. We give praise and honor to all of the mothers that were lost. We give praise and honor to all of the fathers that were lost. We give praise and honor to all of our ancestors who were indigenous to this land. We give praise and honor to all of our ancestors who died crossing the Middle Passage. We give praise and honor to all of our ancestors who survived here to build culture, unity and family with us. We stand before them. We give praise and honor to all of our righteous freedom fighters, but most importantly, tonight on the ninth night of her ascension, we give praise and honor to Mama Assata Shakur. Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. Assata Olufala Shakur. We ask that our energy tonight will be used, Mama, to invigorate your journey. We come before you tonight because we want you to know that you are not forgotten. We want you to know that you have touched our lives. We want you to know that you have influenced our dreams. We want you to know that the children of our children will intone your name. So praise and honor to all of our Gungun. Praise and honor specifically tonight to Mama Assata. Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. All right. So we are coming together today for the old time tradition, right? One of what I considered was the great misfortunes of my life when I was little was being born in Columbia, Tennessee. Because there wasn't nothing to do, wasn't nobody to see, wasn't nowhere to go, right? But learning the traditions of our ancestors was the culture that I grew up in because I was born where I was born and because it was so rural and because there wasn't anything else going on. So when someone passes, from the time that I was small up until now, you create a beautiful space for them in their living room, right? And where I'm from, you actually bring the body into their living room. And on the ninth night, everybody comes together. We come together every day. But on the ninth night, everyone comes together. We tell stories about how the person was so wonderful in our lives. We make merry, right? So that as the spirit is beginning its journey to the other realm, that it can hear, okay, there is some joy in this, right? Because the spirit is grieving as much as we are, right? Leaving the physical realm is something that causes grief on both sides, right? So we want to bring some joy. We want to bring some love. We want to remind her of how she influenced us so that she feels invigorated to continue on this journey to be honored ancestor, right? And it is our responsibility as living to take care of our honored dead. That is our responsibility. Further, as those who consider ourselves revolutionaries, this is where you get the fuel to continue to do what you got to do. This is where you get the fuel to continue to fight the system. This is where you get the fuel to continue to stand in the face of all of these different adversities, right? When you hear me say, as I say all the time, Big Buddy, my great-grandmother, is my light and my salvation, whom shall I fear? I get the fuel because she did it before me. So if we remember who did it before us and how they did it, then no matter what we come up against, we will not feel fear, right? We will know, oh, this is the blood that runs in my veins. I'm good. This is where I come from. This is who I come from. I'm good, right? So this is why we come together and we do 9 nights. We do 9 nights, and I find it so beautiful that in Vodun tradition, in root work tradition, in conjure tradition, even though we didn't remember the names of the deities, we still remember that symbology because we did 9 nights, and it had to be on the 9th night. But those of us who worship the Orisha know why. I remember figuring out why it was the 9th night. I remember the first time somebody told me about Oya, and I was like, that's why we do it on the 9th night. So we didn't have the name of Oya, right? We had lost that particular part. But we knew, on the 9th night, the spirit does a particular thing, and we have to come together. So when we look at how our traditions were kept, we never want to believe that anything is lost, right? It had to change form because we were changing form being here, but nothing was lost, right? And so there I was, a little girl, doing 9 nights, and you know what the ancestors knew? They knew that there was going to be a day when I found out about the Orisha. And so then I could come and tell everybody, y'all, this is why we do it on the 9th night. Right? So nothing was lost. It took it a minute to come on back around, but it was never lost, right? So we always want to cling to the traditions of our ancestors. One of the unfortunate realities about some of our revolutionary thought was that we were working from the perspective of Mama and Granddaddy was doing it wrong. And so we got to now come and do it right. We want to, one of the things that I've always loved about the African Vodun was that it was like, no, they were doing it right. Add these pieces back into it, right? Continue to put meat on those bones that they still had, right? So they were not doing it wrong. They were doing it right. And we are blessed now to have that extra information so that we can keep on doing it right and prayerfully do it righter in generations to come, right? Continue to uplift us. So we have a beautiful slideshow, Mama Assata going. We have her beautiful pictures here. My ELO did research for me, and this is one of her favorite meals. So we have her peanut stew, we have her curry chicken, and we have some rice and some cornbread. This is one of her favorite meals, so we make sure that we have that because we say for the ancestors, whatever the things are being enjoyed, if it's too late in the room, please enjoy this along with that, right? So food for the journey, fuel for the journey, literally, all right? Before we move into anything else, in night, as I was saying, it is common to speak fondly of the person who is on the journey. So I want all of us, each of us who have something to say a little something about how Mama Assata touched your life, what you know about her, and how her journey moved you, so that she can hear how important her life was to us, how she influenced us. So I'm going to defer to my elders at this time. If you all have anything to say, please speak to us on the influence of Mama Assata.
Do I need to get up there or?
It's up to you about however you want to do it.
Well, first of all, let me just say that I'm just very thankful that my wife, Viola, had informed me that you were doing this evening, which meant that my participation is, I'm here. And I want to say that since you've been to Cuba, my last trip to Cuba was last month in July. I was invited to participate at the University of Havana. They're having an African Cuban women feminist event all the entire week. So I made presentations to them. I also had the opportunity to meet the elder who fought in Angola with Che Guevara and Rebecca. They honored me, and in fact, when I was leaving on the last day, going to my residence, 3 of the elders walked me all the way from our meeting place all the way back to my place of residence. And so that was most pleasing. I called them my me. But there was a little bit of sorrow in the trip because under normal circumstances, I might get a phone call. And that phone call I did not receive, and so I'm assuming something was up. Meaning that I'm perhaps maybe one of the few people in the room who knows Assata Shakur personally. Because we have actually did a lot of work together. And I want to say this, but I think it's important for us to speak truth. And that is, I believe, one of the reasons why she transitioned as early is because of Barack Obama and Eric Holder with putting it on the international terrorist list, also upping the bounty to $2 million. And so therefore, she did not have the kind of fluidity in terms of being out in the community that she normally have, but obviously feed her.
Yes.
And so one of the last times I saw her, it was clandestine. You know, you get a phone call, you got to go through all the whatever. But I do want to say, based on the Sweetwater Collective acknowledging the Orisha, besides politics and business and other things, we did talk about the Orisha. We did talk about the Loa and New African program. We had that kind of conversation. And so, if you have seen The Eyes of the Rainbow, which was a film done by Gloria Rolando, she's actually Yemonya, not Oya, just an FYI. But I also wanted to make mention that I did bring some offerings too. And I actually dug this out, and I'm going to leave with you all. It says Assata is welcome here, and it was done by the original government of the Republic of Africa, which at that time was a part of. And what we did was we actually distributed these things in the community. And so when she was liberated on November the 2nd of 1979, we had already flooded Chicago and other areas with the poster. So I think it's important to know that people will ask, well, how'd she get from, Clinton, New Jersey, all the way to Cuba? Well, obviously she had some help, but the point I want to make is some folks saw her and kept their mouth shut. They saw her and kept their mouth shut.
Say that one more time, Bobby.
They saw her and kept their mouth shut. And that's only because of the fact that we're doing work informing people about their work. And so Assata Shakur was one of the persons who was convicted, he's an ancestor right now, of masterminding the liberation. But I also brought something else too. This actually is a picture from my shrine. What you'll see on there is Assata Shakur, Janganji Akinyela, Nahanda Abiodun, and myself. Now, what I want to say is this, is that Nahanda Abiodun is also an ancestor who was an exile. And I want to lift up her name. One of the charges, she was fortunately was not tried, was assisting in the liberation of Assata Shakur. And so I'm saying that we have to make certain that we acknowledge those people who were part of the Black Liberation Army that put her out there.
Yes.
But I also want to say something else that I thought about in significance is that on November the 5th of 1979, we had 5,000 to 8,000 people at the United Nations charging the United States with genocide. Queen Mother Audley Moore and a number of Zara Bakari all made presentations at the United Nations. Salim, who was the Secretary of the General Assembly, also received our petition. And all I'm saying is it was time. Hear me, time.
Yes. Yes.
November 2nd, he's gone, liberated. November the 5th, we got 5,000.
Yes.
All I'm saying is it was coordination with the Black Liberation Army and the New African Revolutionary Forces.
Yes.
That's what I wanted to say.
Yes.
And I don't want to go too much further, but I do want to say this. She is a person whom, in her spirit, is always more concerned about everybody else than herself. Everybody else. And much of our conversation was, well, how was so-and-so? How was so-and-so? How so-and-so? And she would come up with all these elaborate schemes. Well, I'm going to talk to so-and-so in Atlanta. And this is how we're going to do it. And then I come back and she said, well, they blew it. They were just too slick for me. So I didn't have the opportunity to go ahead and connect the way I wanted to connect with some of these other folks. But all I'm saying is she always wanted to be in touch. That was the kind of spirit. I do want to say that the African Diaspora in the World course used to teach out of her autobiography, used to teach out of Fidel Castro, How History Will Absolve Me. All I'm saying is, in fact, her daughter Kokuya actually graduated from Spelman College. You know, and her family actually lives in Chicago. So I want to end by saying that, but I also want to go ahead and read this poem that she wrote that I also lead, and it's called Tradition. Carry it on now, carry it on, carry it on now, carry it on. Carry on the tradition. There were Black people since the childhood of time who carried it on. In Ghana and Mali and Timbuktu, we carried it on. We carried on the tradition. We hid in the bush when the slave masters came holding spear, and when the moment was right, we leaped out and lanced the lifeblood of our would-be masters. We carried it on the slave ships, hurling into the oceans, slitting throats of our captors, took their whips and their ships. Blood flowed in the Atlantic, and it all was not ours. We carried it on. We fed Miss Missy arsenic apples. We stole axes from the shed, went and chopped off master's head, We ran, we fought, we organized a railroad, an underground railroad. We carried it on in the newspapers, in the meetings, in arguments, and street fights. We carried it on in tales told to children, in chants and cantilalas, in poems and blues songs and saxophone strings. We carried it on into classrooms and churches, into courtrooms, into prisons. We carried it on soapbox and picket lines, on welfare lines, unemployment, on the lives, our lives on the line. We carried it on sit-ins and pray-ins, and on march-ins and die-ins. We carried it on cold Mississippi, Missouri nights. We pitting shotguns against lynch mobs, on burning and Brooklyn streets, pitting rocks against rifles. We carried it on against the water hoses and the bulldogs, against the nightsticks and the bullets, against tanks and tear gas and needles and noses, the bombs and birth control. We carried it on in Selma and San Juan, in Mozambique and Mississippi, in Brazil and in Boston. We carried it on through the lies, the sellouts, the mistakes and the madness, through the pain and the hunger and frustration. We carried it on. We carried on tradition, carried on a strong tradition, a proud tradition, a black tradition. We carried it on, pass it on down to the children, pass it on down, carry it on down, carry it on now, carry it on to freedom. Assata Shakur.
Yeah.
Well, I did not know Mama Assata personally, and I know her as most of us know her through her legacy. I feel her. I felt her over this long period of her exile because she was separated from her child.
Yes.
And as a mother, as a grandmother, as a woman, I felt her. I felt her deeply. And as all of us have been strengthened by her courage and her sacrifice, that I'm sure she would not have said it was a sacrifice. She would have said, because when I hear her words, she was just very open, very honest, very real. She was just a real woman, a real African woman who made the decision, conscious decision, to honor her destiny. So I want to offer to Mama Assata in this moment, because her soul is on the journey. Her soul is on the soul boat. And it's crossing the waters. And it'll take a while. We don't understand what that while is, because it's not a while that we even know in our imagination. But we ask the ferryman, one that is operating the soul boat, to carry her swiftly, gently, unencumbered, with the love and respect that we feel for her and that she deserves. And so we say, Tovodu mi sisinue, Tovodu mi kodidenue, Idede, 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 Tovodu mina sisinue, Tovodu mi kodidenue, Idede, Idede, Idede.
Right. Who else wants to speak?
I would like to speak. I remember I was living in Philadelphia. I was living in Philadelphia at the time, between maybe 22 or so, and I think I was at like a black-owned bookstore. And I had heard about Assata Shakur, but not a lot. And they were selling her autobiography. And I remember I couldn't put it down. And I read it, and I just felt like she had lived so many lives in that short period of time. And ever since then, she has been someone who I admired and looked up to from afar. She has shaped the way I felt about liberation. She has helped me understand what liberation truly is. She influenced me so much so that my daughter is named after her. A lot of you may not know, but my daughter's middle name is Assata. And when I looked up the meaning of it, she who struggles, I still chose it because I knew as a Black woman in America, my daughter would struggle and it would still be beautiful. So I still gave her that name. And when I think about what you shared about her, I didn't know those intimate details. And I wish I could have met her. But I feel like there will be a connection and I will get to speak to her and get to tell her how much she has changed my life for the better. And due to her sacrifice, and I know that my daughter, her namesake, will make her proud. And I think I'm going to stop there because I probably just start rambling and crying. But I just appreciate you so much. I love you so much. Just the way I think about the world, just from that book. And you were so young. So I can just imagine what else you're going to do on the other end for us to keep us in this fight. So.
Let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. For you.
I was
Mhm.
okay. Okay, I was waiting for you. But,
And we'll come back.
I am a proud Panther Cub, the daughter of Professor now Dennis Green, who's also an activist. So I grew up knowing that our family was under surveillance, knowing that I had to be careful, knowing how to shoot at 6 years old to defend myself and my family. And still knowing I had seen a letter that Huey Newton wrote my father telling him about the intelligence that they had that indicated that the attacks on my father's life were impending. And in spite of all of that, I didn't really believe it. You know, sometimes you don't believe things your parents tell you because it sounds unbelievable. And my father knew that I really didn't. And in my defense, he also told me that he walked 6 miles each direction in the snow, uphill and then again uphill to go to school. So my disbelief in my defense had a little something to do with the fact that my father tended to exaggerate some things. But they knew that I didn't quite believe it. And it was in 1988. My father handed me Mama Assata Shakur's autobiography. And that changed everything. And then I understood. And I was politicized differently because of her words and her experience and her authenticity and her womanness that I identified with, the warrior woman. And those were two principles that I didn't realize were compatible until I heard Mama Assata. I read her words and I felt her spirit and I understood my own mother and her purpose. And I understood my own father and his struggle. And I understood the need to defend myself. Yes. And to fight and to fight and to fight. And I also uplift my father who's here on this side, but he knew she don't believe me. Let me let Assata explain it to her. make it plain, and make it plain she did. And I have carried her in my spirit since then. And then when I was a grad student at Georgia State for a while, became acquainted with Kikuya, who was here at Spelman. Her now husband and I were good friends. We were at Georgia State together. And so he introduced us, and I was able to wrap my arms around her more than wow. And that, and to feel her pain as a daughter who wanted her mother and couldn't have her mother, and then as a mother who had children that could not be connected with their grandmother, and to listen to her talk about the attacks on her and on her space and on her grandmother's space and the way they terrorized them. The sacrifices that Mama Assata and her entire family have made for us is I don't know that I have words for that kind of sacrifice, that level of commitment in spite of everything, exile and torture and all of the things that she endured for us so that we could be free. I want to give thanks to her.
So if standing on business were a person, right? If standing on business were a person, think about, like you said, the sacrifices that Mama Assata and lots of other ancestors, lots of other people who are still living have made for us. And I think about how comfortable we get and how unwilling we are to engage in conflict for liberation, right? Because we got to take it to the future. That's our commission. We got to take it to the future, but we can't do that without conflict. Change does not come back without conflict, right? And so we get real comfortable, but that's really a disgrace to people who have made the sacrifices that they have made, right? We don't want to have an argument. We don't want to have an uncomfortable conversation for a woman who lived in exile for the cause, right? So when we have to do uncomfortable things, when our destiny says, hey, you got some uncomfortable stuff that you have to face. When your destiny says, this is the destiny, but it's not going to be easy, but it's yours. It's a reminder to me. I don't believe in coincidences. My godmother doesn't believe in coincidences. And so the timing, like Baba said, the timing of her ascension is not a coincidence. We know that her movements were restricted here, but how much more powerful can she be as our ancestor, right? And so I am personally looking forward to being able to, as an Agungo, being able to uplift her name and to venerate her and to call on her when I need a reminder to stand on business. That's it.
Keep it going. You can go. I'll go after you.
Give thanks, Ia. I got several Ias in the house. I got several sisters in the house. And I also want to lift up the name of Queen Nzinga because we were talking about Capoeira Angola earlier. And Queen Nzinga was one of those early warrior women. So I want to lift up her name as an ancestor. And also my mom, who is living still, but she's the one who gave me Assata's book. Okay. And she just said gently, you should read this. And this was also when I was younger and at Fisk University. And it inspired me so much that I wrote a one-woman play based on her book. Yes. And at the time, my godmother was Ia Ola Omi, and she supported me every step of the way. And it was an awesome piece. Sometimes I felt that all I could do was use my art as protest, as a liberation tool, as a form of resistance. Sometimes we are all not equipped to be on the front lines or be out protesting, but my tool was my art and theater and writing and performing and bringing her story to life on stage. And so that was such a gift as a student at Fisk. And I just continue to be inspired. That was not just a performance, but it was a way to share her story with as many people as possible. And I'd like to think more people learned about her because of that, which I also believe is the tool and the reason for theater and art.
Yep.
So Mama Assata, I did that as a way to honor you. Mama Assata, I did that as a way to honor your story and to lift it up and to make sure people know your struggle. And I will continue to lift you up, lift up your name, lift up your story, continue to spread the word about you. Ashe.
Look at this, my Bobby put me on the spot.
Sorry.
I just want to say that growing up, Assata Shakur was one of my sheroes.
Right on.
Because in our household we celebrate mom. I'm Aisha Ifayemi Algani, daughter of Jerry Algani and Malice Algani. And
Sister Courage.
and I just want to say that I don't know, I can't remember who said it or where I saw it, but some of the fiercest warriors, revolutionaries wear dresses. And they just, and it be because we have these children. And we are not, excuse my language, fuck wittable.
Right.
We have to do the work so our children's children will be able to know what's up. You know what I'm saying? Because we are, it's mother's babies, daddy's baby.
Go ahead.
So it's the mamas that have been strong in my life, and I try to be a strong, fierce, protecting mama, and I just give thanks. I just give thanks to be able to know who she was and know that she was a revolutionary, and I always equated the word liberation with her, because we didn't say freedom in our house. We said, they was liberated.
That's right.
So I just give thanks for that liberation spirit of Mama Assata Shakur.
I want to give all praise and honor to Mama Assata. The body is the spirit's only limitation. That's the spirit's only limitation. And when the spirit is no longer attached to the body, that's where true freedom, that's limitless. The spirit can be anywhere, all encompassing, wherever it wants to be. And she was never a woman that could have been bound in the first place. But she's free. And all praise and honor to her. And I'm just ready to get to know her in spirit and to continue to lift up her name.
Keep it going. I'll go next. I did want to say something actually. As actual.
Yeah. Period.
So, I was raised a very specific way as far as it comes to who I was taught and who I was allowed to look up to. We didn't believe in looking up to people who weren't doing nothing. Somebody, you see people on TV, you see people doing whatever, and they're supposed to be idols, but what are they actually doing? So when it comes to Assata Shakur, my whole life, you see somebody who is doing something every day is doing something. And for me, she's always been a beacon to do it scared, to do it tired, to do it restless, to do it uncomfortable, just to do it, because the alternative is not a possibility. Sitting down and letting somebody else figure it out, ain't nobody else gonna figure it out. And if they do figure it out, they're not gonna figure it out the way that you could. So I think in this moment, I'm grateful, and I harken back to how we call this a homegoing ceremony.
Yes.
As someone who was in exile for so long, finally, she's home. She gets to go home. And I can't even conceptualize how peaceful it is to sit down when you've been running for years.
Yeah.
So I'm just grateful. That's all I have to say.
I'll go next. I'll keep it simple and sweet. Simple and sweet. My form of resistance has always been love, and I was taught that by her. Early on, nerdy little child in Michigan. I'm from up north. And we didn't have a lot of on my side of the state. We didn't have a lot of pro-Black. We didn't have a lot of pro-liberation. We didn't have a lot of being able to look up to us on my side of the state. It was very limited. But I was that little nerdy girl that just clung to her and her symbology and what she put out into the world. And I was talking to my son the other day, and he said that more and more every day he realizes that he's a revolutionary because I'm a revolutionary. And I had to say, well, I'm a revolutionary because of examples like she is. And that's the reason why you get to be who you are and get to go on and do the revolutionary things that you're meant to do. Because I had these examples that I got to cling to. And for me, my form of resistance is always love, right? And that's how I raised them. And that's what they came up under. And I just want to say thank you to her for being that example that, yeah, we can do it restless. We can do it tired. We can be all the warrior, but at least center it in our love for the people, our love for change, and our love for liberation. So that's what I want to share. Hey, y'all. Hey. So I'm Jazz. I'm from Mississippi. My mother, Ruby Thomas Walker, was born 2 days after the assassination of Medgar Evers. And we Shady Oaks in Jackson, Mississippi. It was about my grandma's house. It's about 2 blocks from Medgar Evers' house. He was a family friend. And so many events happened in my family who was involved in a lot of liberation that I'm learning about because of who I am now. I say that because a lot of that history was forced underground. And when my family stopped talking, Assata was one of the first books when I was an adult and in college that I read. My father really encouraged me to engage in independent study. He's a funny man. But he knew that the education that I was receiving in Jackson would not teach me about my people. And so I was the kid who always had these independent book readings and things like that, so Toni Morrison, James Baldwin. And I have to give him a book report when he got home late at night. And the thing that I remember about reading Assata's, her autobiography, I was struck because it wasn't a biography. It was an autobiography. Meaning she wasn't dead.
That's right.
I read a story about somebody who was alive. And that's something that just do something to you. Somebody like that can not only
live to tell you about it, but mass publish it. Like there's everybody up in here that got that book. To this day, that's a bad mamma jamma. And so I've been kind of sitting with that, and I still, even though I'm living in Atlanta, I still work in Mississippi. I'm doing mutual aid work, and as whoever that person is up there in that big old White House, doing all that talking about who they gonna put on what list and who they gonna watch and things like that. I've just been really meditating on my family's legacy, Mama Assata, and there's just a lot of respect and understanding that learning about how to be stiff and how to sink deeper into trust that the spirit, when the spirit tells you things, they are not lying. And not only that they're not lying, they also have you covered. And so I'm just really grateful for that. And I didn't expect to speak, and I opened my phone to put up my notes app, and what came up was this song my grandmother in the ancestral realm made 101 the other week. And she made a special appearance in my dream a few days before her birthday, and she gave me this song. It's a remix of a song that I hadn't heard for a long time, but I'm gonna do my best. I ain't much of a singer, but I can carry a little song. Walk with me, Lord. Walk with me.
Take it home.
Walk with me, Lord. Walk with me. As I'm on this tedious journey, want you to take my hand and hold me. Walk with me, Lord. Walk with me. And that's what she got me. She said, walk with me, Lord. Walk with me. Walk with me, Lord. Walk with me. God said, take a little chair and sit. Let me show you where I've already been. Walk with me, Lord. Walk with me. And then she said, talk with me, Lord. Talk with me. Talk with me, Lord. Talk with me. God said, take a little chair and sit. Let me tell you what I already did. Talk with me, Lord. Talk with You know, I said sign. There's a difference now. Singing. But I just want to say thank you to Mama Assata. Thank you for keep on living. Thank you so much for being a model to dare to be courageous and to be brazen. And so I just give thanks for that.
Jackson, Mississippi got a lot of history of resistance now.
Yeah, you know, and they mark me. I literally have a birthmark stain on my leg. So no matter where I go, I gotta tell a story. So,
That's right.
did not know anything about Assata Shakur until I was a fully grown woman, had been married, 6 children. And I learned about Assata Shakur when my 2 oldest children learned about Assata Shakur, attending an African school. And so in learning about her, besides the fact that I felt the way that I didn't know anything about her, I was just so thankful to know of a freedom fighter who they didn't get. Still alive. So now, as the director of an African-centered institution, I'm able to put her name and her story in children's minds and in their mouths. I'm thankful to be able to share about her as one in the number of freedom fighters who got away, who were able to live out their lives, and who found a way to fight. And not just sharing her story just to be sharing it, not saying her name just to be saying one in a number of names, but to remind us and our children that we have to find a way to fight.
That's right.
There are many ways, and we have so many examples of different ways to fight, but find a way. Find your own way to fight and to fight. And as Mama Assata said, we have a responsibility to win. So I'm just thankful that I know now and that I'm able to share the story.
Greetings, everyone. First of all, I want to give thanks to the my mom and Mama's cooking song. I learned about Assata Shakur back in college, going through different classes and taking different history classes, the African American studies, and I've learned about her through stories of people talking about her, and it resonated with me because I was a fighter growing up. I fought a lot, and I would get in trouble. But my fighting was for different reasons. But when I learned about her, her fighting was for our people. And right now, I'm touched. I'm emotional right now, and just loving the fact that what she did for us, it blows my mind. And I just feel thankful that I'm able to be here along with you all and to hear about her, to learn about her, and just to be a vessel to tell her story and to learn more about her. So I'm just grateful, and that I'm going to do what I can to keep the fight going.
You got a shirt on. Tell us about the shirt you got on.
Yeah, Freedom Land. This shirt is from the the young movement of African sisters and brothers, and about Freedom Land, and it's a movement that's going on as we speak. Organization that is promoting more land ownership for our people, and to learn and to grow, to seek out much land we can, and to develop and to tell our story and to grow farm, to grow food, and to live our lives the best we can. So,
The New African Independence Movement.
yes, absolutely.
The landmass goes back to 1968, March 29 to the 31st.
Okay.
Right. So got a lot of history there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you.
We love to see.
Brother Richard or Ali, you want to say anything for Mama Assata?
I don't have nothing to say, but it's hard for me to keep my mouth shut. But yeah, let's see. I spent my entire teenage years in the 70s. A 60s baby. So I remember, I remember the story. I remember all the things that was going on around that. I remember being a little boy, my older sister bringing me to one of the meetings. It's always a storefront. And you go to the beads to back, and that's where everybody was meeting. So I remember those days. And there's someone that I saw on television doing interviewing people, right? She was a commentator. Light skin. Saw a picture of Assata Shakur. She was younger. And when I saw it on the screen, I said, that's her. That's the one I see on TV. And then just when I see her interviewing, she's up close. She got her throat, she's got her lips, she's got that broad nose, all that oxygen. It's that attraction that just, wants to jump through the TV, right? And so, like, she's in the movement, she's doing her thing, commentating, bringing information to the people that's relevant, with the same spirit. Sure, right? So, it's like still here, which she is, looking at all you, listening to all you, and I see she's still here. So, like energy, like creative, always was big.
I said what I wanted to say about Mama Assata. He said about feeling her spirit and her energy. And one of the things that I'm also so grateful for, and I want to acknowledge, is her energy as it moves through my Eolosha and Shango and Yola. Yes, not to worry. Yes. And how honored I am to be the goddaughter and my Ajibona. Yeah, I'm so honored that this legacy of hers, of ours, continues. And when she passed, I didn't realize it until after my son had gone to school. And when he came back, he wrapped his arms around me. He said, yeah, Mama Assata passed. But the fact that my son understood, right, that this moment is important and that we are grieving because so many of his peers, present company not included, right, but so many of their other people really have no idea. We teach at Clark Atlanta, they have no idea for the most part. But my baby wrapped his arms around me. He said, yeah. So I give thanks for experiencing the continuation of her legacy.
Yeah. Say my little piece, and then we got to sing, right? We new Africans. We ain't sending nobody on without some more singing, right? Singing gotta happen. I'm gonna say my little piece. So it was 1989. I don't even know if none of y'all, you do, remember when Public Enemy dropped that song, Fight the Power, right? So I was, I guess it was a junior at Fisk University. And so they dropped the song Fight the Power. The ones of us who didn't know what was going on had to run out and find all of these books, right? So Assata was one of the books that we were all reading, Autobiography of Malcolm X and Assata. And then if you went on into it, obviously you went into Revolutionary Suicide, all of these other, books that are in the same vein. And so I, at that point, read the story of Assata Shakur and had been raised in a family that was very pro-Black. My mom was very pro-Black. My dad was one of the people who took his life into his own hands and went around and registered people to vote in my little small town. So grew up with that legacy, but didn't have those particulars until that 1989 summer. And reading about her, as so many of the sisters have said, after having read so much beautiful revolutionary literature that was written by brothers. And I'm not saying that wasn't moving, because I was moved. I was already moved. I had to shave off the relaxer. I had to go make me some African clothes. I was like, oh, what's going on? I had to get myself together, so I was moved. But once I read Assata, it lit a different type of a fire within me.
Come on now.
And I said, oh, womanhood is revolutionary. And I wasn't anybody's mother yet. That happened a couple of months later. And I was like, motherhood is revolutionary, right? And every step that you take should be revolutionary. And also, there are not limits put on you. Nobody can keep you from doing what you came here to do. It's like that old dude that says, that which or we came to fulfill, it cannot help but fulfill it, right? But you don't often see it in life in a little small town that's majority white. You don't see a lot of that, right? You see a lot of dreams deferred. But looking at her life, I was like, oh, it really is true. You know, your mother would always tell you, you are supposed to be exactly who you want to be. You can be whoever you want to be. Watching her life, I was like, oh, that's true. I do get to be whoever I want to be. I do get to do whatever I want to do. And the most important point of her story for me was the globalness of the story, was the global unity amongst all of the freedom fighters that came together to liberate her, right? And so it reminded me of the reality. You know, it's like you said, your parents grow up saying certain stuff, and it's just a catchphrase in the house, you know, and you don't necessarily believe it, you know it intellectually. Their mother would say, you know, there's far more good people on earth than there are bad people. There's far more people who want to be liberated than there are people who don't want. There's far more people against this system than people for this. But that's just what your mama be saying in your house. Because then you get to school, you know, so you didn't. But when I read the story, I was like, mama was right.
Yeah.
Because a global network had to come together to free our dear sister, right? A global network had to come together. So my mind was blown. And then when I set my feet on the path of a revolutionary, I could do it with my feet planted. I was like, no, it's a global network out here. Now, I didn't know where it was yet. But I was like, I know it has to exist because that happened. So it has to be good. It has to be okay. And I know I'm going to figure it out. When I take that step, something is going to meet me there. So when I think about Mama Assata, that's what I think about. She's the person who told me, oh, womanhood is revolutionary. Motherhood is revolutionary. Even conceiving the baby while she was incarcerated.
That's right.
Every conception that you have is a revolutionary act. So sometimes when people ask me, how many children do you have? And I say 6. And they say, why do you have so many? And I said, I'm old school. I was making babies for the revolution. That's what we did in old school. That's the old school way, right? And as you just heard my baby speak, this is one of my youngest. I raised revolutionaries. Proudly, right? And wrote the book, Raised Revolutionaries. Did. But this was the inspiration for that. Right? Conception is revolutionary. Motherhood is revolutionary. However, you have to fix yourself to do it within this terrible ass system. It is revolutionary. Right? And also that bond cannot be broken.
Yeah.
Whatever the system does to you, wherever you find yourself, wherever you see yourself, that bond is still there.
Yep.
Right? You are still connected
Yep.
to the people that you created. So that was my personal story and personal learning of Mama Assata. Did not get to meet her, did not get to know her like blah blah. But I have revolutionary parents, you know. So I have my mom and my dad, right? And then as I stepped out into the world, Olodumare blessed me with other revolutionary parents. And I don't have a character or a personality that can mesh with people who are not revolutionary. I don't have that type of character or personality because the things that I am going to do and say and not do and not say are going to seem strange if you are not a revolutionary. I will be out here every day doing what the hell I think is right. I'm not going to care what nobody else thinks because that's how I was raised. Right? I was raised that way at home, and then once I got out and came in the door, I was raised that way. Right? These are people who built lives out of the swamps. This is the woman who built a village, right? A conclave, an enclave of safety for Black people. That's who this is. This is the person who knew Assata, who hung with the people who hung with Assata.
May I say something right quick?
Yes.
We need to be clear that there were white allies who
Yes.
assisted in the movement
Yes.
that liberated her too.
That's what I'm saying. It was global.
Yeah, that's
It was
why it's
global.
important. Gotta have
Yeah.
solidarity.
You have to.
Right.
And you have to be able to identify who else is a revolutionary.
That's right.
Who else is really about that life?
Yeah.
Right.
Who else is really about that struggle?
Yeah.
And who else is really about the destruction of whatever the hell this is they got us living in
Ooh.
and holding us hostage to? You have to be able to identify that, and your movements have to be such that you can then garner the support of that.
Yeah.
And we can do that.
That's right.
We can do that. We know that it can be done because it has been done. We're standing here paying homage because it has been done. It's not a pipe dream. We ain't pretending.
That's right.
It has been done. And when she became an ancestor,
All right.
these motherfuckers still hadn't caught her.
Well,
They put on her head, $2 million. They still couldn't catch her. Do you see what I'm saying? That's a legacy. That's the kind of stuff that makes you unafraid. You're like, I bet she died free. Y'all still couldn't catch her. Whatever else is going on in Cuba, they wasn't sending her back to you.
Right.
Whatever embargoes, whatever you done did,
That's
they
right.
didn't send her back to you though. Right? So this is a thing that can be done. And I always am going to advocate for you setting your expectations in the sky.
All right.
African people can fly. Why are our expectations so low of ourselves, of our children, of our organizations? We can fly. Set your expectations high. Do what the hell you came here to do. When you hear your or telling you, now what you need to be doing is over there fighting against that song. Get up and fight against the song. And so, what's going on? What are we doing? I can't stand the complacency. And I'm just gonna sit here and I'm just gonna let somebody do. I can't stand it, y'all. Come on. These are our mothers.
All right.
These are our examples. She made that supreme sacrifice for us.
True that. True that.
She didn't do that for herself.
That's right.
She did that for us. She did that for us. We used to say we didn't actually have a Black Panther faction in Columbia, Tennessee. I am from the city that's 20 minutes from where the Klan was created. And so one of the things that would happen when you were a child, if somebody saw you out somewhere looking too free or having too much fun, a white person would come up to you and say, my daddy is in the Klan, to scare you and to calm you down. And you would go home crying to your mama. Y'all know what my mama told me? She said, when they tell you that, look them dead in the eye and say, my daddy is a Black Panther. And I didn't know what a Black Panther was. So she had to tell me what that meant. She said, well, you look at me and I say, well, my dad is a Black Panther. And she said, that's going to scare him because Black Panthers carry guns. So this was how I was raised. This is the example that our elders left for us. It's not an example of complacency. It's not an example of sitting down. It's not an example of being afraid of an administration, of laws that come down, of strictures that we imagine that someone else can put around our destiny. We don't come from that example. So then our expectations cannot be that we move forward like that. Right? We have to follow in the footsteps of our elders. We are blessed.
Big blessed.
To have the elders that we have. Right? We are blessed. And so we have to follow. Your Ori chose these elders so that you could follow that example. Mama Tene Boo has come in. Yeah, Tene Boo, do you have a word for us? Oh, yeah. Do you have a word for us on Mama? You have a word for us on Mama Assata or a word to share?
I just got it.
You qualified.
My aunt, it was like almost best friends, very close friends. And so I call her my aunt because she moved down south with my mother. She was my grade school teacher when I lived in the village. So she was a Black Panther. And And she just would tell stories because she would tell stories of the revolution. And I knew her. She actually was in prison for like 8 or 9 years because her and her first husband was shootout with the police. And but I remember her telling me that. So now that Assata, yeah, her transition, I'm suffering a little bit from memory. And so she keeps calling. And it's like, are you sure? Is it a movie? I'm like, yeah, you know. So she's a little heartbroken. But bravery of those sisters. And this the running struggle with those sisters had. They really pulled it together. And the only thing I can think of that I might that we should take from that example is that there's a lot of infighting in the spiritual and the cultural community. And it's kind of like we have to agree to disagree. And we got to fight the common. The common enemy. We have one enemy.
Yeah.
So,
And it's not within.
That's right.
Like that.
Oh.
Okay. Let's do a little bit of singing. And then, okay, before we move forward with the singing, did anybody else have any offerings that they did not get to put on the altar?
Well, please forgive my clothing and coming straight from the Lord.
Have an opportunity.
You know you responded. Be careful with those. So tonight we're gonna sing God as the guardian of the pathway between here and our spiritual home, and then we're gonna sing for a room. So before I even deign to begin, I would first my mother, did you want to sing anything? Or y'all, please. Oya mi do, oya mi do, oya. Ure ure, oya mi do, oya mi do, oya. Oya mi do, oya o, oya mi do, oya. Ure ure. Oya mi do, oya mi do, oya mi do, I have to say that those of us who are her children call her so deep. The mother with the voice of This is the voice in my head whenever I'm trying to this voice. All right. Jambala, jambala, jambala. Jambala, So Dambala is a Elephant deity, the representation of the ancestors who have been away from Earth so long that their names are not remembered. So you sing to Dambala to let them know that even though the names are not remembered, they are still remembered, right? And still all right. Down here, ancestors waiting on you. Down here, ancestors waiting on you. Down here, ancestors, and we waiting on you. Can't do nothing till you come. Down here, ancestors waiting on you. Down here, ancestors waiting on you. Down here, ancestors waiting on you. Can't do nothing till you come. Down here, our mothers waiting on you. Down here, our mothers waiting on you. Down here, our mothers and we waiting on you. Can't do nothing till you come. Down here, our mothers waiting on you. Down here, our mothers waiting on you. Down here, our
waiting on you. Can't do nothing till you come.
Down here, our Father's waiting on you. Down here, our Father's waiting on you. Down here, our Father's there, we waiting on you. Can't do nothing till you come.
Down here, our Father's waiting on you. Down here, our Father's waiting on you. Waiting on you. Can't do nothing till you come.
Down here, Mama Assata waiting on you. Down here, Assata waiting on you. Down here, Assata, we waiting on you. Can't do nothing till you come.
Down here, outside, waiting on you. Down here, outside, waiting on you. Down here, outside, waiting on you. Can't do nothing till you come.
Can't do nothing till you come. Can't do nothing till you come. Won't do nothing till you come. And we won't do nothing till you come. Can't do nothing till you come. That's the new African Vodun one right there. So we're gonna do one for the particular road of issue that's at the ancestral crossroads, and like the African music that we were learning earlier, is always call and response. Call and respond. It is not the caller that calls the deity. Y'all hear me say it all the time. It is the responder. African religion is not a spectator sport. It is a participatory right. Okay? So it's easy. Your DNA remembers the words, I promise you. Okay? Getting nimble, over in the boulevard. Getting nimble, on the body, ilaiku.
Getting nimble, on the boulevard. Getting nimble, on the boulevard.
Get nimble, over in the boulevard. Get nimble, on the body, ilaiku.
Getting nimble, put it on the boulevard. Getting nimble, on the boulevard.
Get nimble, over in the boulevard. Get nimble, on the body, ilaiku.
Getting nimble, put it on the boulevard. Getting nimble, on the boulevard.
Getting them on the crossroads of Iku. Baba Iku, who removes things from the earth, that it's time for them to go on to that next level. All right. Any other songs that anybody would like to sing? Anybody want to add? Oh, that's
From way back in the day. I'm 52.
come on.
Way back.
It's Pamoja Tuta Shinde, together we will win. And my mother, who remixed everything, you know, I'm gonna say the first part and how it goes, and then how she remixed it, which is my mama.
Gotcha.
Okay. It's CCY2 way usi watu wazuri pamoja tutashinda, pamoja tutashinda, and it's we are black, we are black, beautiful people, beautiful people. Together we will win. Together we will win. Together we will win. Together we will win. So that's the CCY2 part, and then she remixed it to be like CCY2. CCY, CCY2, CCY2. Watu wazuri, watu wazuri, watu wazuri, watu wazuri. Moja tutashinda, moja tutashinda, moja tutashinda, moja tutashinda. I'm not a singer. You can sing. I know I've been changed. I know I've been changed. I know I've been changed. The Vodun Fatumi sign my name. I know I've been changed. I know I've been changed. Change. Oh, do it right to me. Sign my name. I know I've changed. Well, I know I've been changed. I know I've been changed. The Vodun to me, don't sign my name. I know I've been changed. I know I've been changed. I know I've been changed. Oh, you did that to me. All on Mama Assata, if you wanna be changed. All on Mama Assata, if you wanna change. Better call on Mama Assata if you wanna change. Because the Vodun in Fatumi sign my name. I know I've been changed. I know I've been changed. I know I've been changed. The Vodun went back to me, sign my name. All on the grandmothers, all the change. All on the grandmothers, if you want to change. You better call on the grandmothers if you want to change. The Vodun in Fatumi, sign my name. I know I've been changed. I know I've been changed. I know I've been changed. The Vodun in Fatumi, sign my name. Call on the granddaddies if you want to change. You better call on the granddaddies if you want to change. Call on the granddaddies if you want to change. Because the Vodun is about to make my name. I know I've been changed. I know I've been changed. I know I've been changed. Oh, you can sign my name.
Let us make a final prayer. We have to, can we have fewer lights? A little bit fewer, not all the way down, but just a little bit fewer. I just play to, well, you need to get your staffs. And Ta, can you please open that door for us? So I want everyone to gather their energy, gather your energy all up into your diaphragm, right? The end of the 9-9 is when you give the spirit the push to go on its way. Okay, so I'm going to sing a little something. You don't have to repeat it, but I want the spirit to get the push. And then I want the Yahweh Gungun to make some noise with your staff, and we want to push the spirit on out on the journey. Okay? Tumbo. So I'm gonna stomp the steps. Everybody send that energy out.
I'm good. No,
problem. Okay. Thank you so much for doing this missionary work. Thank you. People say they speak out bad, and people like that. I'm sure anything you want,
Right.
she will make it available. And we do have a little in the back.
For a meal.
I'll take it.
Pray for your beautiful.
We are the children of the one who died. We are the descendants of the people who survived. We are the children of the one who died. We're fearless, we're strong, and we're ready to carry on. We're strong, and we're ready to carry on. We are the children of the ones who died. We are the descendants of the people who survived. We are the children of the ones who died. We're fearless, we're strong, and we're ready to carry on. We're fearless, we're strong, and we're ready to carry on. James? And my Kwame and the way all our help and our ancestors. Lonnie, yes, Lonnie. Okay. Okay.
Thank you so much for blessing us.
I'm left with formalities. Oh, my revolutionary.
Always and forever. Anytime. I gotta get some screen recording. It moves you. Okay. I'm sleepy.
I know that was a gangster picture. All right.
You're supposed to take. I keep getting told to take the picture.
Look, you gotta get everybody, all the sisters in.
Oh, yeah, come on. We have. Yes, take a photo for us. Where's Yaya? Is she talking? She's talking. Okay.
Take photos.
You are missing the photo. But we gonna finish it. We just need it for 5 seconds. Yeah.
I have some at home. I'm still waiting on it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I got stuff like that. The other stuff.
These are my boys. Yeah, I mean,
We are.
Let's sleepy right now. Get ready for tomorrow. Well, we went to bed.
We went to bed.
Yes, what's up?
God.
No, you got it.
You all right? Such a madness. Yes.
tomorrow. It's a lot. It's a lot.
It took me an hour and a half. Thank you for your voice.
If it's on,
It took me an hour.
my feed, I'll be
I'm on the highway recording. Change my GPS. Okay. Yeah, the highway was.
Yeah, that is literally out on my phone. My notes I took a nap, and when I woke up, I was like, oh, what was that? I had to record it.
I want to make sure. Let me tell. All right, we are closing. Thank you guys for joining. I hope everyone enjoyed it. You can put all your questions in the chat and I will answer them later. For peace, ecstasy, abundance, and bliss to everyone within the sound of my voice, wishing the same for me and mine. And as always, the lessons of life on those who are ignorant enough to wish us otherwise. Enjoy your evening, guys.